in one day. How lucky am I? This is to make up for all the streams that I haven't been doing for this entire year, I guess. I am for real with the bitter melon. I will explain. I have not eaten a lot of vegetables this week, mainly due to traveling, but also I'm just not good at buying vegetables for myself. And since I'm just back and since I cleared my fridge so that I didn't have food rotting away in the fridge while I was traveling, I have no vegetables. Lo and behold, I go to farm school today, and at the end of the class, one of the farm managers walks over and they said, hey, it doesn't seem like this bittermelon is keeping well in our fridge. We have this many. They had like 7 or 8 of them, and they were urging us to take them. So I took some, and we're gonna cook it. This way I can eat it with some of Grandma's hard-boiled eggs. Maybe we'll stir fry it with a little bit of garlic, maybe a little bit of sugar, and then maybe I might mayo it up to really coat over that bitterness. And I just figured it's nice to chill and cook some veggies for myself. Maybe we'll eat more oatmeal that has matcha in it so that I can stay awake until way past my bedtime. I don't know, guys. There's no plan for my life. Spoiler alert, tomorrow Aaron will be dropping Fred off, and I will be taking care of Fred for almost the rest of the month. He will be with me until pretty much like September 26th, or even possibly later, depending on when Aaron has time to pick him up. So get ready for some of Freshie, get ready for some of Freddie on a live stream, and I think I'm gonna try to make a video edited with Fred too, so that, you know, I can take full advantage of the fact that once he gets here, y'all know I won't be sleeping, because the last 2 times he was here, I didn't sleep, and the first time he was here, I got COVID because I didn't sleep. So let's hope that I don't get COVID again. Let's hope I don't get sick again. I'm already pretty exhausted from my trip. September is going to be a really busy month. And I'm just going to do my best to take care of myself and not kill Fred, but no promises. I might kill Fred. Rest assured, if I do kill Fred, it will not be live streamed, so that I cannot be held responsible. But, you know, I'm not saying I will, I'm just saying it's a possibility. Anything's a possibility, you know? So, anyway, that's what's going on in my head. We're gonna wash this bitter melon, we're gonna cut it open, we're gonna see how it's doing, and we'll get cooking. I might pickle some of it with the beet juice that I have left so that we can have some bitter melon pickles. I tend to really like bitter melon pickles, so, you know. Sorry, my brain just died for a second. Running on too little sleep, jet lagged, a lot of anxiety, a little disappointment, worried about Fred coming over, and trying not to stress myself out about it all. But yes, what if you did an edited video of Fred? I'm confident you'd pick the most hilarious soundtrack. We'll see what YouTube has given me to work with. I am feeling less and less confident about the future of being a creator on YouTube. It seems like they're changing the ad system on YouTube, the advertisements. It seems like they're taking options out of creators' hands regarding what kinds of ads we can add, when to add them, how to add them. It's either you have ads or you don't have ads, and if you choose to have ads, YouTube basically automatically just across the board assigns you an ad format. It used to be that you could change ads manually. It does not seem to be the case anymore. I think they said starting in November, this new policy is going to take effect. I've noticed on the Lidl video that I've gotten just like a third, maybe a quarter or a third of the ad revenue that I usually get. So it seems like they're going to give the viewers more ads to watch and the creators less money from the increase in ads. So it's a lose-lose situation for you and me both. And that is why I don't turn on super chats, because YouTube can go fuck itself. Um, and we probably just got demonetized for saying fuck. I don't understand. It's 2023. There's a lot of shit going on in the world right now in terms of, like, you know, a new wildfire every single week, it seems like. And we're still being penalized on social media for saying curse words that everybody started saying in the 6th grade anyway. The world does not make sense. That's my first rant of the day. And it's really fascinating for me to think about how, you know, especially way back when China had a lot of censorship in terms of what people can and can't say on the internet, how people found kind of slant homonyms to substitute for banned and censored words. And I see a lot of that happening on Instagram too, and on YouTube as well, and on TikTok as well. People spelling sex in a funny way with 2 G's and an S. People kind of like blurring out a letter out of a curse word so they don't get flagged. And I'm conflicted, right? A part of me is like, okay, I get it. We're just all going along with the algorithm, but we're still saying the words that we want to say, just spelled funnily. And then the other part of me is like, fuck this. Like, shouldn't we be pushing back about our, I don't want to say right, because I guess as humans we don't deserve anything, but shouldn't we be pushing back about, you know, being able to just say a word that's been in existence for a very long time and that people use on a regular basis without having to euphemize it? So yes, you know, it's just my brain being my brain. We also have some oregano and a green bell pepper. Not sure. Does pickling help with the bitterness? A little bit, yeah. It displaces some of the bitter with, you know, salt, sugar, sour. So it might not like officially displace, although I think once you pickle something, it leaks the juice and the moisture out of the thing that you're pickling. So yes, I think technically it does actually displace, literally displace some of the bitterness. But a lot of it is perception too, you know. Just because I'm adding sugar to a spicy thing doesn't mean that that decreases the amount of spicy agents and capsaicin in the pepper, but it does decrease the amount that my taste buds are tasting, so it affects my perception of it. Now, whether or not my perception counts for reality is totally up for philosophical debate, which we can go into, but I feel like I've gone on to that debate very many times already, and maybe y'all are a little bit sick and tired of that shit, so. Yes, we are allowed to exploit our bodies and literally the earth and everybody else, you know, but not allowed to say fuck. It all makes so much sense. Does Emma Chamberlain bleep out her curse words? Because I feel like if you bleep them out, they won't penalize you for it. And I did, you know what? I did bleep out all my curse words in the H Mart video. And yes, H Mart is so fun, and that was my first video that I did independently after I got fired from Delish. There's a lot of factors going into why that video did so well. It's over 400,000 views right now, and all of my other videos that followed that pales in comparison. I can't isolate the variables and say this is the thing that made it successful. Obviously, there's a lot of things that made it more successful than my other videos, but I did bleep out all the curse words in that H Mart video, and I do wonder if the algorithm punishes you for leaving curse words in videos, you know? But again, it's YouTube's rules. Emma is already so big. She's a celebrity. She's a star. She's on red carpets everywhere. She's got her own coffee franchise going. So YouTube is going to let her do whatever YouTube is going to let her do because she's Emma Chamberlain. And I'm not. So that's kind of just how the world works. You know, not everyone is subjected to the same rules, especially when they're opaque. Even though they say they're very transparent rules, we all know that on Earth, rules are not applied to everyone equally. It has been this way since the beginning of human language. So, there we have it. I don't care. As I've said many times, I've decided I can't be dependent on YouTube for my income, so I'm just here mostly for the fun of it. I'll take the ad money. Why not? You know, it pays for some of my groceries. It's money. Money is money. I'll take it. But I definitely can't rely on it. That would be increasingly stressful with all of these rule changes. Constant rule changes. Okay. Do we have any thoughts on bittermelon? Do we like it? Do we hate it? Do we know how to cook it? Do we avoid it? Let's peel some garlic first. Yes. I want this to be extra, extra garlicky. Because I don't feel like turning on the fire just yet. Yeah, Shelby, I answered that. I think pickling does help mellow it out a little bit, you know. Just think about other pickles. It definitely displaces some of the original flavor or lack of flavor and replaces it with whatever the pickling liquid contains. So, hello, Ontario. I'm curious. I know you guys made a Discord channel. Who are the most regulars on that Discord channel? Because I feel like every time Godzilla Pie signs on, everybody's like, what up, Godzilla Pie? So who are the main players? I'm guessing Eliza is on there. I'm guessing Ram is on there. Is Gary on there? Anxious Gary. I feel like he's a pretty stable regular. Thank you for Fred sitting survival supplies. I do plan on catapulting him out of the window if he doesn't shut up. So you have COVID brain right now? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Fuck. That's still happening, isn't it? And yet nobody is masking. Cool. Bittermelon is good and good for you. I'm getting around to the good part. Mom has always said it was good for me. I've always said, ew, disgusting, please no. But yes, it is good now, in my opinion, especially because I miss Mom. So I associate it with her. Oh god, your mom would juice it? That does sound terrible. Ugh. Does she filter out the fibers of the bittermelon after juicing it? You're actually curious about the bittermelon that I have. You remember looking like that before your grandfather picked them for seeds. Yes, these might be very, very, very overripe. Because some of the bittermelon that we saw in class today had gone to seed already. And it's fascinating because the bittermelon right now is a light green, very pleasant to look at. But when they turn ripe enough for seeds harvesting, they turn this fiery orange gradient, which I had never seen before. But it was almost like one of those long, I don't even know what you call that kind of pepper, but it's kind of spicy, and it's like a light green color with fiery orange licks around certain angles of it. But I'm looking forward to trying it. And in whatever case, it's still edible. It might not be the most tasty thing, but I need vegetables and I have this, so why not, right? I saw another YouTuber get this white colored version recently, and she said it's mellower and less bitter. Interesting. Bitterness is the key to the blood sugar helper, though. I'm pretty sure bitter things are really good. You started eating Goya in Okinawa? What's Goya? Like the bean company? Yes. I know, Caddy. I recognize your name. I know you're a very faithful watcher and that you've been here for a while, but my question is, are you on Discord? Toast the seeds. Yes, the seeds of the bittermelon, which I had never seen before because you don't eat the seeds. You don't eat the bittermelon once you can harvest seeds because that is just way too ripe of a bittermelon. But I saw bittermelon seeds today for the first time, and they're kind of like a little tan, leather-colored, cubist-looking pumpkin seed. They're kind of thick, like a kabocha squash seed, but they're slightly angular in a very cubist way. I found them very fascinating to look at. I should have taken a picture, but I didn't. But the thing is, we have Google now, so you can probably Google it to see what they look like. 2 in 1 day, Karen. Indeed, what a life. I'm going to turn on my light, turn on my fire, pour in some oil, and we're gonna start toasting this garlic first. Honk! Hi, Philly. I stuck my middle finger up today at a driver. She was being really fucking annoying because there were slow moving cars in front of her and she looked like she was in a rush, and it's not like the cars in front of her could have gone anywhere because they were letting pedestrians pass in front, and she just kept honking. So I don't know if she saw me, but I stuck my middle finger up at her when I crossed the street finally because she got stuck behind a red light, and then I like turned to give her a death glare. But I really hate people who honk because of impatience. You really should only honk to warn people of danger. You should warn people if they're like, you know, getting too close to you, or if you're making a sudden turn and you want to alert them to something. If you're honking because you're tired of people moving too slowly, like, no. Maybe you should just walk and not drive and see how you like that speed. What if she's crazy and runs me over? Okay, well, I guess that's always a possibility. I'm not going to live my life thinking about what if everyone around me is crazy and is out to get me. I mean, her honking at people in front of her who are just driving as best as they can is kind of like her flipping the bird on them through the voice of her vehicle, you know? So one can say that I simply dealt back to her what she dealt to the rest of the world. Not to say that that's a good thing. I'm not proud of flipping the bird at someone and giving them the death glare, but, you know, sometimes I just don't care. Sometimes I reach a point where I'm just like, fuck you. Fuck me, but also fuck you. Fuck all of us. And fuck YouTube too, while we're here. A lot of garlic. And they're all kind of burning. Sometimes people are just going through something. Yeah, I get it. I get it. And she took it out on the rest of us, and then I took out what I was feeling on her. So, you know, I did have a choice to do better, and I didn't. You have a theory that people show their truest, worst selves in the car. Interesting. I'm going to observe every time I get in the car with someone that I know, how they behave as drivers, way more closely now. That's a very interesting take. I have one of my IKEA pots. The other two went to Aaron, but I have this one. Where is my salt? I'm gonna salt the garlic. It's turning brown. Nice and golden. Delicious. And then let's see what spices we want in here. I think I want maybe a little bit of fennel. Normally I wouldn't put any spices, but I also don't want to use up the egg that's in my fridge that I probably should use up just because I don't want to use it yet. So we're just going to use spices instead. I have so much boiled eggs from Grandma that I need to use up. I just can't justify using more eggs that are not boiled. I was more in danger. I'm always in danger as someone who's alive on the world and able to be killed at any given time. So, I mean, I think that's the point of terrorism, right? Is it makes you feel like you can't really do what you want to do by instilling fear in you. So yes, some people do live in terror. I would argue that my mom was one of those people. And I sometimes also live in terror because it's not really a choice whether or not I do. But sometimes it is. Sometimes it can be a choice. So this is farm fresh bittermelon. I've never had such fresh bittermelon before, so I'm very excited to see what is inside. And yep, we do have some seeds, that's for sure. So these are pretty old bittermelons. We're gonna scoop the seeds out with a spoon. Look at this one that I just thrifted. Isn't she cute? Hi, Chile. Oh, this garlic is so well cooked. You go, June. Look at me complimenting myself. Only one piece burnt. The rest are nice and deeply golden. Lovely. Simply lovely. Did I enjoy the Texas heat? I didn't actually exit the airport, so not really, but I experienced it as I was making my way from the airport room into the plane. I don't know what that little tunnel way is called, but yes. I try to read all the comments, y'all. I try to do my best and read all the comments. Okay, so these are my pickled beets. I'm going to munch on a couple of beets. I'm going to add a little more sugar and salt to the solution, and then we're gonna plop some bittermelon in here. I should probably also taste this bittermelon, huh? Okay. Here we go. Straight piece of bittermelon. Let's see how bitter it is. It's actually not that bitter at all. Does bittermelon get less bitter? Interesting. Fascinating. Fascinating. I'm gonna leave a few pieces of beet in here because I don't want to eat them all right now. But we'll go ahead and we'll add a little extra salt. And we're gonna add a little extra sugar. I'm gonna use this raw sugar. Beets are already pretty sweet, so I'm gonna do like a tablespoon to offset the bitter melon. Okay, that might have been a little bit more than intended. But I would say this guy is really good for, now you can actually see my bitter melon, pickling, because he's not too bitter. I want like slivers, I guess, or chunks. This is hard. Okay, I'm gonna do slivers like this. The bitter melon that I have here is not at all that bitter right now, unless my taste buds changed. But it's actually quite nice. I don't mind it at all. It's crunchy. It's a little bit like a dried, it's like a less juicy cucumber mixed with the texture of a bell pepper, and it kind of has the taste of a bell pepper too. Kind of that green bell pepper taste where it's a little bit bitter. But not in a terrible way, just in like a flavorful, bitter way. And I like it. I don't mind it. How did I cut the other one? I cut this one all wrong. Do you know how to make lentil bread? Nope. That sounds... What is lentil bread? Is that a TikTok thing? No, I don't have a recipe for my pickling liquid. I just do salt, sugar, vinegar, and additional spices if I feel like it. I always eyeball it. I never measure anything. There is way more melon than liquid, but we're just going to give it a shake and we're gonna let it do its thing, and eventually the liquid from the bitter melon will seep out of the bitter melon and run itself into the juice, the pickling liquid, and it'll be good. We'll just give it a few shakes. Macerate is the proper word, Jenny. You are correct, sir. Is anyone else's chat acting funky? Funky in what way? Errors? I'm not seeing errors. You might need to reload. When in doubt, reboot, reload, restart. Okay, back on the burner with this garlic. I think this is too much garlic for my bitter melon, so I'm actually gonna maybe pluck some of them out. save them for another purpose. I can always do more garlic in another place. I don't feel like putting it into a jar. Let's just put it into a little dish. I kind of want to eat one right now. They sound like they're good chips. Garlic chip. Would you like to hear me eat a garlic chip? I already know your answer. I don't even have to look. Of course you would. Of course you would. Mmm. Oh my god. That is so good. This isn't garlic confit because it's not immersed in oil. It also depends on your sterilization, how clean your utensils and jars and storages are, so I'm sure Google has the answer for you. I don't. All right, let's check out this white bittermelon now. I don't know if you can tell, but this one is way lighter in color than our last one. So far, I am a big fan of local farm bittermelon, to no one's surprise. Local is probably always better, and this one is a little bit younger. It has seeds, but the top portion didn't fully form seeds yet, and the bottom has. I used to use Chrome, and then Aaron was like, you really should switch over to Firefox. So now I exclusively use Firefox. Sometimes I haven't uninstalled Chrome yet because of bookmarks that I didn't transfer over fully because of laziness. But sometimes Chrome will pop up by itself and try to like reinsert itself into my life, which just makes me more pissed. I highly recommend Firefox over Chrome. Chrome has a lot of security breaches. It's also owned by Google, which, as we know, is like the benevolent master, slowly turning less and less benevolent as he shows us his true face and purpose. The evolution of what Google started out to do and what it does now is pretty horrendous. So if you're not ready for Black Mirror type shit to happen to you quite accelerated yet, maybe switch over to Firefox for now. My blue chopping board is a delish relic. I don't know if they make them anymore. All right, let's taste this white one, shall we? Ooh, way more bitter. Uh-huh. Ooh. Let's stir fry this one with a little bit of sugar. My heat is off for now because I want to see if the other bitter melon is also bitter, and then I can cook them all together. A viewer told me a while back that you shouldn't overcook bitter melon. It actually turns it slightly more bitter as it cooks. This one I love the shape of. It looks like a soap bar or a statue. It's actually quite beautiful. I might want to take a photo of it. Please hold. Sorry, are you responding to a text? Okay, I kind of don't want to cut this guy open. It's so cute, but we're gonna cut it open. Man, can we just appreciate the beauty of this one? I have never seen a bitter melon of this size and shape sold in stores. I think it's adorable. It's so beautiful. I'm putting my face here so that Google can find this as a thumbnail, because sometimes it auto-populates thumbnails for me after the live is done, and there's no good shots of me actually holding the food. So I'm going to stay here for another 15 seconds talking nonsense so that Google can maybe grab a thumbnail from this particular section of the live. This veg is an acquired taste BK Bjorn. I hated it for a very long time, pretty much until my mom died. And then because of the memories I associated with my mom, I returned to it and gave it another try, and lo and behold, mom's dead and I love bittermelon now. Go figure, right? So I would say it has a soft green bell pepper taste with a slight astringency and bitterness that some find very off-putting. I think it's delicious when cooked with garlic, a little bit of sugar, salt, oil, and eggs. Someone told me to stir fry it with eggs, and it is absolutely delicious with eggs. Let's give this a taste, a try. Cheers. By far the most crunchy. Very mild. Very, very mild. Do I want to? I don't know if I want to cook this. I might just want to eat this, actually. Like, in a salad. Yum. This is good. You can eat it raw, you can pickle it, you can do whatever you want to it, girl. You can roast it, you can soup it. I think it's usually stir-fried because that's the way that it's not as bitter as other ways to cook it, but you can do whatever you want to it. As long as something is edible, you guys just do you, man, do you. Yes, of course you can use the juice in a pickle jar to pickle other things. Nobody is stopping you. You do you, girl. All right, sugar. A smidge. And I'm gonna start peeling some eggs to eat for protein today. One of Grandma's many gifts to me. Let's eat 3 today, because I'm sure she'll give me even more tomorrow. Hopefully Fred can help me eat some. I also have an avocado in there. Maybe we can make a bittermelon avocado egg salad. Does that sound delicious or what? That actually sounds kind of good, to be honest. Yes. I mean, pickle juice is probably an electrolyte just because of its sodium content, right? It's very salty. Eliza and Jenny, are you guys meeting up somewhere in real life? I always get so excited when viewers meet up with each other in real life. Chicago is on my bucket list too. I gotta go check it out. That's cool, Eliza. Alright, how are we doing here, kids? I've discovered the hot spots in this pot. It's right there. It burns everything over there. The sugar is slowly starting to caramelize on the bottom of the pan. And as soon as the bittermelon turns translucent and slightly limpy, I'm going to pull it off, let it cool. We'll chop our eggs in there, and we'll see what's going on with that avocado. I had such good avocado in Mexico, guys. I have to say, all of the avocado that were served on all of the dishes were good. Never had such consistently good avocado before in my life. What is the best food to eat in Chicago? No, you can't. You get in trouble for bringing home fresh vegetables and fruits. The U.S. does not like that. I've decided that the bittermelon is my role model vegetable. I want to be exactly like bittermelon. Locos tacos. Flacos tacos? Flacos? love to be crunchy and bitter. Yes, a little extra salt for my blood pressure. And I want a little extra fennel in there since I took some out with the garlic. Recently, I've gotten a couple of comments from a viewer who seems to have returned to me. I guess my dead mom content kind of pushed her away for a little while, and she's returned to me. I've seen her leave some comments that are filled with typos, and I'm normally not a person to judge for typos, but the content of the comments are also, I just don't know how to interpret them. I'm trying to give people benefit of the doubt so that I don't feel bad for receiving these comments, but there's a lot of like, you shouldn't talk this way, or you shouldn't assume that your grandma's gonna die before you do, and I don't know, guys. The internet is weird. When you leave me a comment, think about if the comment's about you or about me, and then like maybe label the comment with a parentheses, this is for me, or with a parentheses, this is for you. Because sometimes I feel like, and that's fair too, you know, internet culture and whatnot, people just leave comments to talk out loud, and then I don't know if it's actually a critique for me or if they just don't feel comfortable with what I'm saying and doing and thinking. Which then confuses me quite a bit. Because maybe it's not about me, maybe it's about them. Bittermelon and pickle pizza? That sounds interesting. I would love to really slice that bittermelon thin and maybe serve it a little bit cured, like a pickle on top of the pizza. And like, you know, the way that grandma's been living, yeah, there really is no way of telling if she's gonna die before I will, because, you know, like, honestly, grandma goes hard. But I responded to that comment and I said, for both my sake and grandma's, I hope she dies before I do. Because can you imagine if I died too, and grandma's just gonna be in New York with no real blood relative? Who the fuck's gonna look after her? She's just gonna like waste away in the facility. So no thanks. Okay, here's our bittermelon. My uncle's too scared to come to the US to pick her up. There would be no way of getting in touch with him either because language barrier. I don't even know if the facility has my uncle's contact info on file, honestly. So, yeah, exactly, Amy. And all her hard-boiled egg and milk hidden away. That would be tragic. Alright, avocado. This avocado was given to me by a farm school classmate who came over to be interviewed by me for a farm school video project. And they were so nice. They brought over like rambutan and dried fruits and nuts and these avocados, and I said, you know what, all I want are 3 rambutan and 2 of these avocados. They brought over like 4. So I've had this avocado for a while, and the reveal, not great, but still edible. I'm just going to slice it with my spoon because I don't even want to use a knife on this. This is going to be a real trash salad, y'all. It's been a while since we've had one of these. I'm really happy to be doing a trash food the first full day I'm back from a trip of delicious food. Serves me right. I don't know if I'm very good to Grandma, but I would say I'm very responsible. I sometimes freak out and give her a hard time, but you know, it's, I would say, inevitable based on how my uncle and my mom have both reacted to taking care of her. She's not very compliant. Let's just say that. I'll leave the beets in there. I'll chop up one egg first, and we'll do a little test run salad. Maybe we can flavor all the versions of the salad differently, you know? So that we can have slightly different flavor profiles for exploring. That's one egg. And now we're going to put in maybe 2/3 of 1/2 of an avocado. And then we'll put in some of this bittermelon that I haven't even tasted yet, but I'm ready to just go for it. Cooked with garlic and fennel seed, salt and pepper and sugar. Okay, so we have this, and we have in here beets, avocado, boiled egg, and bittermelon. And I think I want a little bit of mayo in here. Just a little mayo. We'll bring out our little Duke's mustard in case we need it. Polish donuts. Man, I don't know if I've ever had a legit Polish donut. I've had a Polish style donut. I also think Polish donuts are very close to like the Jewish donut, right? Sufganio. It's like a jelly donut, yeasted and filled with jelly or jam. Raspberry. I think I've had the most of Sufganio. Okay. You want to come over so I can eat while sitting down? Yeah, come over. Okay, here we go. We have better lighting here to look at the food. This is our first iteration of our trash salad. I'm going to get a little bit of avocado, a little bit of egg, a little bitter melon, a little good chunk of beet, and we're ready for a bite. Mmm. Would it taste better without the bitter melon? 85% yes, but there's a 15% hesitancy here because the bitter melon actually works really, really, really well with the beets. The texture and the flavor and even the temperature are very complementary. The bitter melon is a little bit warm. The beets are still a little bit cold from the fridge. The beets and the bitter melon are both covered in the egg yolk mash with the mayo, but neither one of them are losing their integrity and their individual flavor profiles, and it feels like a chopped salad, basically. Bitter melon is like a bitter melon. It's like a bitter zucchini green bell pepper. For people who have had bittermelon, what would you say it tastes like? For people who have never had bittermelon, if you were to describe to someone who's never had bittermelon, what would you say? For me, I do feel like it's a more bitter version of a zucchini green bell pepper cross, but maybe I'm not right. It kind of has a dehydrated cucumber feel to it, like an overgrown cucumber. There's a slight rubberiness to it. You drove 27 minutes across town? You're a little crazy. You're telling me you didn't like the chipotle one, the smoky chipotle one? Oh no, you don't like the bourbon one. I don't know what the bourbon one is, I guess. Is this the bourbon one? No. This is the smoky chipotle one. I don't know what the bourbon one is. I don't know what an unripe zucchini tastes like, so I can't say if that's a apt comparison. Overripe cucumber. There you have it. Several people have agreed with me, so I think I should have maybe added a little bit more salt to this. It feels a little under seasoned with the bitterness. Oh, the mini spatulas, Karen? I got that one off of eBay. eBay has amazing new old stock. Basically things that they don't produce anymore that they sell because they was never sold. Does that make sense? I'm sorry, my brain's dying. Okay. By the way, I just got a nice bite of caramelized garlic chip. Amazing. If you cook bittermelon, use enough oil, use enough garlic, use enough salt, and add a dash of sugar. For your first time, just do that. Keep it simple. Serve it with scrambled eggs. Cook it with scrambled eggs if you'd like. It's probably better that way. Serve it over rice or just eat it on its own. So good. Let's go back for round two. Those garlic chips are so good. I think one bitter melon deserves half a head of garlic. Let's see if I can successfully influence you to eat bitter melon. I want to be known as the bitter melon influencer. Make it happen, guys. Make my dreams come true. Avocado is also great in here because it adds more fattiness to cut through the bitterness. So I am a fan of this whole combo. Let's try it this time with our Dukes. More mayo. And a little extra salt. I was gonna do MSG, but I don't think we need it because Keepy already has it. But I do want a little bit more crunchy. Maybe sesame seeds? That sounds potentially good. Black sesame seeds, nutty, sweet, nice little contrast. There is no beets in this one though, so let's see how that changes my perception of this vegetable. No beets, but yes, sesame. You order the tomato powder from Burlap and Barrel. Do you sprinkle on stuff or make a paste with it? You can do whatever you want, girl. Sprinkle it on stuff, on your toast, on your cream cheese, on your sour cream dip. You can use it like you would use tomato paste in a sauce or pasta dish. Add it into your salads to heighten that umami tomatoiness. Do whatever you want with it. It's edible, so eat it. However you want to eat it is great. Mmm. The Budget Eats measuring cups and spoons are just delish measuring cups and spoons. But yeah, I think they stopped manufacturing it. I like this. I don't love it more than the last one. Let's put some tomato powder on here since it was just mentioned. Let's see how that changes things. Okay. Ooh, I like that. It gave it like a sun-dried tomato ketchup hybrid taste. A little bit sugarier than a sun-dried tomato and a little bit earthier in that dry way than a ketchup. Does that make sense? Good addition. Thank you. You want me to try Nigella seeds next? No, this is black sesame seeds in here, but I could try Nigella seeds next. I do feel like Nigella seeds taste better if they're bloomed in oil first. Aaron just sent me a story off of the Burlap and Barrel account. Burlap and Barrel reposted someone else's tag of the Za'atar blend, which originates from Palestine, according to the label. And the caption says, "Growing up Palestinian in America, to even see the word Palestine in any sort of commercial application is shocking. If it's not bad news or demonization, it usually doesn't exist. To feel merely acknowledged for even a moment can mean everything." And we might get demonetized for this live now too, because the last time I talked about Palestine on a live, we got demonetized. But there you have it, folks. Words matter. Identity matters, especially when, you know, you've gone through fucking decades of just being bullied, attacked, violently assaulted, and sometimes straight up killed. So The burlap and barrel za'atar seasoning is from Palestine. No debate. Feels great. Feels great to work for a company that is not afraid to say things, you know? Say things. Let's try a bite of smoked black cardamom in here just for funsies. That was way too much. I still can't live over. Do you remember during the pandemic when Goya got canceled and then I did that chickpea video right around the time that Goya got canceled? My editor-in-chief actually slacked everyone on a weekend, emergency asking all of us to change the thumbnail because the thumbnail was me and a wall of Goya chickpea cans. So the graphic designer, our graphic lead at the time, Allie, worked feverishly for a couple of hours to create a new thumbnail, get it approved, and then change the thumbnail onto the video that was already uploaded. Less than 2 years later, because nobody remembers that Goya was canceled, our quarterly magazine has Goya ads in it, and they happen to be right next to my recipe that's in the magazine. The moment that I saw that Goya ad in the magazine, like, triggered something deep within me. And it made me realize just how fucking pointless and empty media is, and how everything is about ad money. And we didn't pull the thumbnail because we believed in justice. We didn't pull it because the CEO of Goya came out in support of Trump and we didn't want to support Trump. We pulled it because people were canceling Goya, and that meant that we were going to get financially punished for it if other companies saw that we were supporting a brand that wasn't currently popular with consumers. So that was the moment when I realized, media has no morality. Media has no values. Media has no sense of right or wrong. Media only knows whatever sells, we do. Content can be so empty. By the way, Shelby, if you're gonna research the Goya issue, I would say I don't even fucking care that the CEO supported Trump and maybe still supports Trump. Goya has been very anti-worker. They've, like many, many huge companies, have squashed union efforts and unionization efforts. So I would just personally cancel Goya for that. But Goya also owns so much of the market share. You know, if you go into a grocery store and you're looking for canned beans, chances are Goya is probably the only brand that's available on every single shelf. So one comment says, I'm surprised you say hour. And I say hour because listen, I'm turning 34. I spent almost 5 years at Delish. Of course there's a part of me that I still feel like belongs there, you know, because I spent almost 5 years there. I spent 4.5 years there. I gave a lot of myself as an employee. So I realize I'm not there and that I'm not part of the we, but at the time, it certainly felt like I was a part of it.
buy beans and you only have Goya, just fucking buy the beans. There are much worse things going on in the world. But if you have other options, sure, why not? Go for it. All I'm saying is don't torture yourself over these little choices that really don't matter while the world is burning. They do matter and they don't. You know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. Do whatever feels good to you. Just don't torture yourself too much. Because I feel like I've spent years torturing myself over these minute decisions that really didn't impact anyone but my own consciousness. And if it makes you feel better to not support Goya and to never buy their product again, do it. But if it brings you extra pain and suffering to like try to find alternatives when you're not given any alternatives, I would just advise you to not worry too much about it. It's probably not worth our effort. Our efforts can probably be spent better elsewhere. Fighting for unionization, being in solidarity, finding out a way to not pay taxes in solidarity, not as a rogue agent, but maybe we have to start as rogue agents, I don't know, but our tax dollars just do so much damage. And to think that it's money that was given to us in exchange for our labor as we sell pieces of our existence away on a daily basis, to only have that money not go towards education and healthcare and, you know, park services, it goes towards violence stuff and corporate bribery and other shit that I could really do without, that most of us can do without. So if anyone has a method for us not paying taxes en masse, let me know. I would love to figure something out. I really like the smoked cardamom, so I'm gonna put more black smoked cardamom in here. Definitely mayo, for sure. I don't know if the mustard did anything for me, so I'm gonna skip it this time. But we can't all stop, because that amount of solidarity is impossible to achieve. Ideally, yes, we would all stop simultaneously. That would be called a revolution. Does America have the backbone to carry out such a revolution? I don't know, guys. I don't have faith in us. I've not been given a lot of confidence in terms of our political showings. It doesn't seem like we're determined to do anything about what we hate. Let me do some of this sambal. Which president hasn't been a puppet? Seriously. I love all the ideas. Keep them coming. JFK wasn't a puppet president because he was killed too soon. Oh, Brittany, don't go putting any bowl in the microwave, okay? I don't want to be responsible for people exploding their houses up. I did it because I was mostly confident that it wouldn't blow up in my face, but not all bowls are created the same. It has to be 100% stainless steel. Other people told me not to do it, so unless you're ready to blow up something, don't do it. I like the tomato power, I've decided. Tomato powder. So thank you for reminding me about the tomato powder. It's actually really good with the bittermelon. It has a little bit of acidity, it has a little bit of sweetness, it has a little bit of umami. It tastes salty even though there's no salt in it. So it's actually the perfect condiment to put with bittermelon. I think bittermelon would work really well with a tomato and egg stir fry as well. So those are my ideas if you want to try bittermelon. Everybody loves Jimmy Carter, huh? Peanut farmer. What makes a weak president? Simply one who doesn't deal as much violence? Is that it? A president who doesn't follow the precedents of others before him who have bombed the shit out of other countries for no fucking reason other than money? I don't know, guys. Who the fuck gives a shit, right? I have so many bug bites from farm school today. Everybody was spraying themselves with bug spray and I was like, no, I don't need it. And then because everybody else was sprayed with bug spray and I was the only one who didn't, I got all the bites. Tomato powder plus mayo equals Thousand Island dressing. Whoa, okay. Honestly, kind of sounds like Big Mac sauce too. Is Big Mac sauce basically a form of Thousand Island dressing? That is a really expensive jar, Kay, of Better Than Bouillon. Was it chicken? Is it the paste or the dry powder? Honestly, I have not seen tomato powder at very many spice selections in stores. It's really intensive to make tomato powder because you have to think about just how filled with water tomatoes are. I mean, it's such a juicy thing. And so to get this container of pure dehydrated tomato, imagine how much work goes into growing the tomato, drying the tomato, processing it into a powder. I don't know how many tomatoes go into a pound of tomato powder, but probably a shit ton is my guess. I'm not sure if Better Than Bouillon makes a powder, but there are bouillon cubes which are powdered. It's such a juicy thing. recommend that if you want to make DIY tomato powder, that you only use tomato skins and not the whole tomato. Oh, okay, so a little burlap and barrel plug. There's actually a sale going on site. Burlap and Barrel has never done a sale before, so this is a very special occasion. The reason being, we have a lot of new spice blends coming into the warehouses and we like really just don't have room, so we're trying to push out some of our oldest stock. They are not expiring anytime soon. There's 2024 expiration dates like in October or August. There's some 2025 expiration dates on some of these spices, so they're still good. And you know how I feel about expiration dates anyway. And there are some really good deals going on, so if you want, now would be the good time to check out some spices. I think you get free shipping at the $45 mark. That was a great dinner. I'm gonna eat an apple and go live my life off screen. I hope you guys enjoyed this impromptu stream. I just lost my train of thought because I'm so tired. Whew. And I'm also very sweaty now. Want to watch me eat this apple? Or do you want me to log off? I also already know the answer to that because everybody who's going to say log off is not going to say it. Oh, peruse the, you know what, I'm gonna eat my apple. You peruse the Burlap and Barrel site. Ask me if you have any questions about spices. And I'll eat my apple, and then we'll say goodbye. How about that? Let me guide you through your shopping experience. KCS says, I just want to congratulate everyone here for surviving a pandemic. Most have experienced differing levels of stress, but nonetheless, we all survived. Is it over? Did we survive? What 3 would you recommend in terms of what? I can't just pick 3 spices. You have to tell me what you want. You want sweet, you want savory, you want blends, or you want pure solo spices. I have so many recommendations. So you're gonna have to be more specific about what kind of 3s. If you like Italian seasoning, I like the smoke and herb. It's really delicious. It's like Italian seasoning, but more floral, fragrant, more elegant a little bit. It makes me feel very light and pretty, but still very grounded in that classic rustic Italian feeling. If you want spicy, but also savory, but also not too much spice, I really like the black Urfa chili. It's got a little bit of sunflower seed oil and salt in it, so it's kind of a blend almost. It also makes a very very pretty topping spice because of its deep, dark black color. So if you need contrast, that's good. What else? I think you should try the cinnamon if you haven't tried the cinnamon. Burlap and Barrel cinnamon is hands down the best cinnamon I've ever tasted. The Royal cinnamon, not the Verum cinnamon, they're both great, but the Royal cinnamon is so sweet on its own. Contains no sugar, but it tastes like cinnamon candy, basically. So I really highly recommend. If you use cinnamon, if you love cinnamon, try the Royal cinnamon. I think that one really shines. Farm school? You can Google New York City farm school. It'll pop up. Icelandic kelp. If you have furikake, you probably don't need both, but Icelandic kelp has nothing else in it besides the kelp. What can you use it for? Probably mostly a topping spice. I feel like it doesn't really give much flavor in my cooking. I would not say that that's one of my top spices, but it's fun to have. I haven't experimented too much with it either, because I don't know if you've seen my wall of spices. I simply don't have time to use all of them. It's getting a little out of control. The cinnamon, the Royal cinnamon, is from Quang Nam Mountains in Vietnam. Yes. Thoughts on the fermented white pepper? It's pretty great if you like white pepper. It doesn't have that kind of musty, dusty curtain taste that most Chinese store white pepper has. It's very bright, very floral. Comes in a grinder, unless you have your own grinder. White pepper is such a staple in Chinese cooking, in my opinion, so it's a staple for me, but expiration does not matter at all. Just to give you an idea, I had the Royal Cinnamon for 2 years, and it still beat out all the other cinnamons I've ever tried, even at that 2-year mark. Obviously, all spices start to lose some flavor, but I feel like Burlap and Barrel has such high quality spices that if you compare Burlap and Barrel spices 2 years in to a store-bought fresh container, it's probably still gonna beat the flavor. Expiration dates are just there for legality. Liability, we have to have an expiration date, and that's just law, but it's not really an expiration date, it's a best by date. So that's the law. It doesn't really expire, it's just best by, and it's kind of arbitrary, right? Who decides when it's best by? So cumin and coriander comes as a blend, but be aware that the blend does not have the same coriander as the Red River standalone coriander. It's a special coriander that we had a very limited supply of, so we decided to mix it with the cumin so that everybody can get a jar and a taste of this coriander. Because we had such a low supply of the coriander, if we sold it alone on its own, it would have sold out immediately. I love Korean gochujang. I actually spent $25 buying a really fancy one. Usually a container of this size should not cost more than 10 or 12. This one cost 25. It was on sale. It was originally 30 something. So I'm pretty excited. This was the only gochujang that I saw that did not add corn syrup to it. The ingredients are red pepper powder, soybeans, glutinous rice, and salt. So
How much do they respect the people who pick the herbs? Like burlap and barrel? All I know is we ask the farmers what they want to get paid, and most of the time we pay that price. I don't know where that is in Mexico, so I can't say, Kathy. Okay. The garlic powder is really good when you smell it, but I think even though it's a bestseller simply because people use a lot of garlic powder in the States, I would still use fresh garlic. There's nothing that beats the taste of a piece of fresh garlic being chewed down in my mouth. Garlic powder has its place, I think, in things like popcorn maybe, when you don't want like pieces of raw garlic floating around inside your mix. But if I gave you a straight answer, if you use a lot of garlic powder, it's worth buying. If you don't use a lot of garlic powder, I would skip it. Gochujang is Korean. Balsam fir salt. We actually just sent out a newsletter about that salt. You want me to pull up my newsletter? You should be subscribed to the newsletter, guys. Don't make me do this work for you. I already do the work by writing the newsletters. Let me see if I can find the newsletter for you. It's a very mild salt. It's quite delicious on almost everything. It can go on sweets or savories. But let me see what I wrote. I'll read you the newsletter. Smelling serenely of pine trees, a mild November peace, and sweet citrusy resin, balsam fir salt has become a bit of a cult classic in our lineup as a friendly flavoring chameleon. Tender young balsam fir needles are hand-picked, dried and ground before being blended with Salina crystal salt to preserve its magnetically jammy, peppery flavor in a wildly versatile form. Highly effective as a finishing touch, a gentle shake of this salt increases the savoriness of chicken dishes, develops the flavor of salad dressings, works especially well with root vegetables like carrots, parsnips, turnips, and beets. Its woodsy herbal element contributes simplicity and clarity to creamier, meatier flavors while adding layered complexity to earthier ingredients, beans, potatoes, mushrooms. Smooth and savory servings, it's even dreamier in desserts. Use it to top brownies for a mysteriously smoky salinity, or sprinkle over fresh cut summer tomatoes and juicy stone fruit to intensify their seasonality. Add to recipes calling for lavender or Earl Grey tea to bolster the intrigue of floral aromas. A pinch in homemade whipped cream will make that slice of pie all the more irresistible. And then I go on to describe the process of making it, but those are the usages. Katarina, you're absolutely right. Most vegetable and fruit pickers are heavily underpaid. Like, if I'm buying a pint of blueberries for $1, and those blueberries have been grown and picked, processed and packed and shipped to me, and the middlemen, like the grocery store who's selling it, are taking out a huge cut of it, what the fuck are those workers getting paid for picking that entire pint of blueberries? And I don't know if you've ever picked berries, but they are not easy to pick. So yes, pretty bad. Lemongrass powder. I've used it very minimally because I don't cook with a lot of lemongrass in my cooking. I haven't experimented much with it, but I would say it's a much more special spice. I don't see a lot of people selling powdered lemongrass. So if you like lemongrass flavorings, I would recommend that you get it because lemongrass fresh keeps, but it doesn't keep that long. But if you have a jar of dehydrated powder, you can put it into curries, you can put it into salad dressings, you can put it into marinades, you can sprinkle it on top of even fruit salad if you want a little bit of that lemoniness. So I also feel like a lot of these spices are so fragrant that they can be even used in beauty products, like if you want to make homemade scrubs, lip scrubs, skin scrubs, or balms. There's the rose powder, there's the hibiscus powder, beautifully pink, there's the mint. I feel like all of these can be used in various applications. Look at me turning into a human ad at 8:37 p.m. I do have an affiliate link in the description box of this live, in all of my videos basically. You don't get any discount, but they can trace the sale back to me so that they know how many people I've influenced. Also, when you check out, they'll probably ask you how you heard about Burlap and Barrel, and usually if you write in like June tipped me off, they'll send you a really cute welcome email. Basically every single order that comes in, we have a real live human being on the team looking at it. And there have been several employees now who started off as Burlap and Barrel customers. So that's the kind of company that B&B is. It's really cute, honestly. A very rare business. But yeah, I'm starting to I'm starting to lose my control of speech, and I'm sweating profusely out my pits. So I'm going to go offline, do my dishes, and maybe go watch a TV show. If you have any questions about spices, feel free to drop it in the comments below and I can answer it, or you can DM me on Instagram and I can answer it. Or you can DM the Burlap and Barrel account. They literally respond to every single message that comes through unless it's straight up spam. So customer service on point. If you ever experience any issues with your ordering or questions, they'll probably get back to you pretty soon. So bye-bye. Thanks for ordering spices.